This tutorial is going to be about how to teach your horse to lay down without using ropes to pull them down to the ground. Before you teach this trick, keep in mind that laying down is one of those tricks that's usually going to take a lot longer to teach than most of the other tricks. This is Nemo, a 3-year-old miniature horse, and it took him about 2.5 weeks to learn how to lay down, and that is usually a very short amount of time to teach a horse to lay down in. If you watch a horse that's going to go lay down or roll in their pasture, they're going to start by putting their nose down on the ground, then bringing their back legs closer to their front legs. Then they'll sink down in their haunches and then finally go down. So with this method that I'm using to teach him how to lay down, I'm going to try and teach him all those steps. The first step is I'm going to ask him to bring his head down while walking calmly and relaxed on a small circle. Once he understands the step, I'm going to start to slow him down in the circle while keeping the whip cue behind the back of his knees. And that's going to help teach him to bring his hindquarters closer to his front feet. A good idea when you do this is to pick a spot where your horse has laid down before or likes to roll. That way they're going to be more inclined to understand what you're asking him to do. A really big key in teaching your horse to lay down is going to be being able to recognize all the really small steps and attempts that they make at doing what you're asking them to do, and really taking your time and not forcing anything. So don't rush anything and give your horse enough time to learn how to be able to trust you. So here I'm letting him take a couple steps, and then I'm going to try and stop his front end while his back end keeps on walking, and that's going to bring him into that sort of collected form. And once he's there, I'm going to insist a little bit with the whip and try and get him to pick up those front legs, and that's when I'm going to reward him. Here's another example where I'm going to reward him when he gathers himself up and starts to show interest in laying down. As you can see in the beginning, it's going to be very subtle, so it's up to you to catch those things. A lot of horses will start to paw on the ground like Nemo is doing right there, so I'm not necessarily going to reward it. I'm going to try and see where he's going with it, and then I'm going to reward him if he's pawing because he's getting the idea of laying down, not just pawing the ground. And that is one of those things with the lay down is in the beginning you're not really going to be looking to reward a behavior because you won't get one. You're going to try and reward them thinking of laying down, getting the idea of laying down. And then that's going to hopefully lead to you getting the behavior that you're looking for. So here we have Nemo after having done this almost every single day, 15 to 20 minutes a day for about 2 weeks. This is actually the day that he learned how to lay down. You can see here, I don't have to do much, just touch his legs and bring his head down, and he is really starting to understand what I want him to do. A lot of times they won't lay down right away, but they might go down on their knees like he's going to do right here, and that is a huge step that needs to be rewarded almost just as much as if he had laid down. So here he lays down for the very first time, so I'm going to really over-exaggerate the reward to really emphasize that was really the behavior that I wanted. Later on, I might ask him to stay in the lay down, but right now all I care about is that he actually went down in the first place. Once they have learned the lay down, I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the bow, and I'm going to introduce the all right cue. So I'm going to ask him to lay down, and then I'm going to give him the all right cue to stand back up. All right. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel.